My name is Madeleine Sumption and I'm the Director of the Migration Observatory at the University of Oxford. So if you're looking at policies that admit people who are moving for economic reasons and for work in particular, basically all high-income countries have an employer-driven system of some kind. And that essentially works by allowing employers to decide who they want to recruit. And then if they meet certain basic criteria, like for example, the worker being in a skilled occupation, then the person will be able to get a visa to come and do that particular job. So generally, employer-driven systems are seen as quite a good way of identifying who has talent for particular roles. The drawback of those systems is that there's sometimes concern that employers may be interested in the very short run, so who can do this job next month, but they don't necessarily care as much about whether this person has good prospects for integration or participation in society 5 or 10 years down the line. The United States has a pretty traditional employer-driven immigration policy for people who are selected on the basis of work. They have a system that was designed quite a long time ago, and politically it has been very difficult for them to change anything. And so they have a number of quite rigid caps, both on permanent visas and on entry visas for people coming in, which means that they've generated big backlogs. If you're from certain countries, it can take years and years for there to be a green card available to you, even if in principle you're eligible for it. And then if you look at people coming in, the demand for visas is so high and so far above the number of spaces that are available that in many years they're simply allocating visas by lottery, which I think most economists look at the system just think that random selection is probably not the best idea from an economic perspective. So I think this is a model that has worked in the past, but it hasn't really kept up with the times, and as a result there are a lot of bugs that have entered into it. What we've seen more recently is countries like Australia and Canada actually kind of merging the two systems, so creating kind of hybrid between points-based systems and employer-driven systems, where they do things like really prioritize people with work experience to show that they have a track record and that they are employable, without necessarily saying everything is about sponsorship from a particular employer.